Hello everyone, welcome to the second lecture on why machine learning matters in the module of machine learning. So in the previous lecture you understood what machine learning is. But here there is a fundamental difference in the way the conventional programming happens versus how the machine learning happens. So in this lecture we will try to understand what is this difference between the conventional programming style versus the machine learning programming. Let's discuss this with an example. Throwing the paper ball into the dustbin. This is a very popular example, and I'm sure we all would have played this game sometime in our life. That is, when you find a dustbin and when you have something to throw into the dustbin, we try to throw it directly, right? And see whether our accuracy is very good. So let's assume that there is a dustbin and you want to throw a paper ball into the dustbin. So what happens generally? When you throw it into the dustbin, sometimes it falls correctly into the dustbin. But before it falls accurately into the dustbin, many a times it falls either on the side, it falls either goes beyond the dustbin, or sometimes before the dustbin the ball falls. So let's say you are throwing the paper ball, it falls beyond the dustbin. What does this imply? That means your brain will now think that I have put in extra force, that is the reason the ball has gone beyond the dustbin. Now you will try to adjust the force, reduce it a bit, and then throw it again. When you do that, actually the ball may fall before the dustbin. So now your brain, your intelligence will tell you that okay, I think now you have reduced the force much slower. Now you apply a bit more force so that it falls exactly into the dustbin. Now in the third attempt, when you throw the paper ball, it may fall directly into the dustbin. So there is a bit of an adjustment which your brain does, and this is what we call it as intelligence. That is, you are learning from the process. So first time when you throw it, it goes beyond the dustbin. So your learning is I should throw it with a lesser force. Now second time you throw it with the lesser force and you realize that it falls before the dustbin. So now there is a gap, so you realize that I should increase the force. This is where the learning is again. Now the third time when you throw it, it falls accurately. So your brain learns in a very structured manner. So there is an input, that is a force that you are providing, and there is an output. The output here is a simple action, whether it falls into the dustbin or not, that is yes or no. And your expected answer is yes, but it has been no in both the events. So you know that if I do this with more force or if I do this with less force, my ball may not fall into the dustbin. So this is where the learning is. Now let's try to understand, if I have to take this whole experiment of throwing the paper ball into the dustbin, what will happen if I do it with the help of a computer. Okay, but before that I will slightly complicate this example a bit. Now let's imagine I have a fan put in. Now initially there was no fan, it was just moving to the top, over the dustbin and before the dustbin. Now when you have a fan, there is a wind that comes in. There is an extra angle of throw that you have to consider to throw the ball into the dustbin correctly, isn't it? So you need to throw it in the right direction with considering the wind factor so that the paper ball falls into the dustbin. Now again you will do this experimentation, that is you will throw with lighter force, with a particular angle, multiple permutation combination you will try to check which one is the right combination for you to put it across in the dustbin. Now the moment you do 10 or 15 times, you will know what is the right way to throw, what is the right angle, what is the right force, so that your ball falls into the dustbin. This is how the learning happens, isn't it? This is how the human brain or human intelligence helps you to learn from the experiments, from the experience that is happening here. Now this is something which is easier for a human brain to do because we have been trained to think in this direction right from our childhood. So we are able to do it in the right way. Now let's see if a machine can do it in the same way. Okay, this is where the machine intelligence comes into picture. So let's say conventional programming, that is, we all would have learned some program in our life, right? Like C, C++, or some kind of at least basic coding we would have understood during our school days and college days. How do we write a program in any language that you know? What you will do is you will write a simple generic function, okay, where you will tell that based on whatever input comes in, this is the function. It will just function is nothing but the processing logic that you define. You define a logic, so the input flows into the logic, and then the output is calculated and then given as a output, isn't it? This is how the generic conventional approach works. Now let's try to automate this whole process of throwing the paper into the dustbin with the help of the conventional approach. So what will you do? You will write a generic program to tell the computer to measure the distance, the angle, and apply a predefined formula to calculate the force required. Because here the important aspect is you will consider all these factors only then, and then you will send it across to a formula. A formula is an equation which you will use to ideally judge whether the ball will fall into the dustbin or not. The formula can be as simple as what is the force, what is the angle, all these things will be considered to find out whether it reaches this particular spot which is so much distance away from my throwing point. Now when you add a fan to it, the program will continuously miss the target because there is no learning that is happening here, isn't it? You have a normal equation, that equation is not going to change just because you have brought in a fan, correct? Now to get the outcome right, you should ideally reprogram the equation. You have to change the equation so that the wind factor is also taken into consideration there. Only when this is considered, you will get the outcome right. Do you agree? So what you are trying to do, step 1, when there is no fan, you are writing a simple formula, and using this formula you are computing based on the input that comes in. That is, input can be the distance from which you are throwing, the angle at which you are throwing, whether it will fall, and the force that you are applying, whether it will fall into the dustbin or not. That is the output. Now with the wind force coming in, you have to rewrite this whole formula so that the wind factor is also considered for you to judge. This is how you do the conventional approach. Now let's understand how the same thing is being done in the machine learning way. So in the machine learning way, we understood in the previous lecture that there is data that comes in as an input, and this data is being analyzed. You understand the data very well, you deep dive, you analyze insights coming from the data, and then you are trying to form an equation out of it, and with that equation which is coming from the data, you try to derive the output for the new data that comes in. So whatever data that is available initially, you call it as the training data. So let's say, for example, I told you when we were trying to do this experiment, some 15-20 times you keep throwing the ball, and then you realize what is the right way to throw the ball into the dustbin, correct? That's how human learning happened. You're throwing the ball, it may go in any direction, either the force may be higher or force may be lower. So you learn in every step, and every time you are doing this, you are actually capturing this as an experiment. It's okay, I put across this much force, this is the distance, this is the angle I used. Did it go into the dustbin? Yes or no? Next, again, this is the force I applied, this is the angle, this is the distance. Did it go into the dustbin? So 15 or 20 times, whatever you have done, you are continuously capturing the data. And suddenly, in couple of instances, when you are throwing it, based on the input, process, and output, you may get a label whether yes, the ball fell into the dustbin or not. Correct? So this is where the difference happens. Some labels will be like, yes, it fell into the dustbin. Some labels will be like, no, it did not fall into the dustbin. Now, this old data is given to the machine, and you're telling the machine that, look, I have done 20 experiments here of throwing the ball into the dustbin. Can you look at this 20 experiments and find out and come up with an equation by yourself? And then tell me, when I give you the new data, you can tell me whether that will fall into the dustbin or not. You get my point? Now, with this 20 data points, you are applying statistical models on top of it. This training data. Okay. You apply statistical models on top of it, and then you are trying to derive an equation. I will go back to the same definition of machine learning. The equation can be as simple as y is equal to f of x. Here we are considering three variables. That is the distance from which you are throwing, the angle at which you are throwing, and the force that you are applying. These three variables I am considering, so I will keep it as x1, x2, x3. Now y is equal to f of x1, x2, x3 is the equation. Now, as I told you, there may be some weightages to these variables, right? Not all weightages will be the same. That is, the distance from which you are throwing versus the angle at which you are throwing versus the force that you are applying. Which one will carry more weightage here? Maybe the force, maybe the distance, than the angle, isn't it? So, you will put the equation like y is equal to w1 x1, w2 x2, w3 x3, and you have x1, x2, x3 as the input data, but you do not know the weightages that are to be assigned, isn't it? And from your own experience, your understanding of this problem, you are giving in weightages saying that this may have more weightage than the other, but you do not know for sure. So here the machine learning statistical models, that is the generic algorithms, can actually help you to identify what could be the right weightages from the input data, that is the training data that is available. So whenever the ball fell into the dustbin, those are the success scenarios, isn't it? It will try to see which one carried more weightage in the equation. Is it the force or is it the angle? What exactly helped you to put the ball into the dustbin? And then assign the weightages to that equation. Now, this is how the equation is formed. Y is equal to w1 x1, w2 x2, w3 x3, where y is the answer, whether it is 0 or 1 depending on whether the ball fell into the dustbin or not. Same way, x1, x2, x3 are the input variables, that is the force, angle, and the distance. w1, w2, w3 are the importance of each variable, that is the weightage that you have assigned to them. What is the purpose of creating this equation? Now, when you throw a ball into the dustbin, you say that this is the force I'm going to give, this is the distance, and this is the angle. You pass this as an input to this equation. Now, without even conducting the experiment, I can tell you from this equation whether the ball will fall into the dustbin or not. Do you get it? This is how the machine learning model is built. You are actually looking at the data in detail. You are trying to derive patterns out of it. Pattern is nothing but the weightages and the variables. And then you are trying to pass a new input, and for a new input, based on this equation of weightages and the variables, you are predicting the output. Does it make sense? This is the machine learning way of solving problems. So in layman terms, if I have to define it, in traditional programming, you are defining the program very clearly. That is, you are writing the algorithm, step by step instruction, you are giving it very clearly, and then you pass the data, the output comes out. This is the traditional programming. In the machine learning programming, you are giving in the data and you are giving in the output also. That is, this data is coming from the experiments you have conducted, and this output is the result of those experiments. You know the input, you know the output. You are trying to create a model, that is the program, which is actually connecting the input and the output data. And this model is used to generate the output for the new data. Any data that comes in, with the help of this model, you are trying to understand whether this data will achieve the desired output or not. In our case, in our example, if the new force, distance, and the angle is given, you will judge whether the ball will fall into the dustbin or not, based on the model that you have built with the help of 20 experiments that have been conducted before, where you know the input as well as the output. Does it make sense? I hope you have understood this machine learning, and we will try to understand the different learning approaches in the upcoming lectures. But the important core thing that you need to remember is, in machine learning, data is the key. The data is being used to actually understand what kind of insights that are coming out of it, and those insights are coming out because of the statistical models you're applying on that. So better the understanding of the data, the wonderfulness of the model will come out. The model will be much better, more efficient and more accurate when there is more data, and when you have understood the data better to derive the right equation with the right weightages. We'll look at more examples in the coming lectures to help you understand this concept of machine learning in a better way. Thank you very much for your time today. Let's connect again in the next lecture.